That close down the stream. All right, I guess I'm recording. Cool. So first live stream being recorded. So welcome to the channel. Just doing a bit of cleanup on some bikes here today. It's got Sony A6400 camera working. So that's exciting stuff. So we got finally decent camera for the streaming. Really pleased. Settings, options, and things like that were kind of crazy. So I'm glad the heartache or the headache is over. Now I just get to do the fun part. So tomorrow I'll be doing a streaming on painting this guy. See if he'll focus on in. Let's get a close-up of him, at least of his face. Let's see if we can get a nice zoom in on him. Yeah, there we go. Autofocus, let's try this. Nope. Focus on him. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and do some painting on this guy here. Got his face. His face looks awesome. Super happy with that. So that's going to be part of tomorrow's stream. So I want to do some painting on this guy. Just love how his face turned out. And again, there's a video in the tutorial on how to do that. So that's tomorrow's goal, hopefully. That's exciting. Let's go ahead and zoom on out a bit. That wide frame back in. There we go. I'm so happy that I now have this set up. Definitely pleased with how this is turning out. And I'll be able to see what kind of delay we got with the webcam and me speaking. Hopefully nothing. It's going to be a lot of me with my hands in front of this. Eventually this will be overhead. Thinking I might have to make some sort of bar setup or something. Now that I know that this thing zooms in and out quite a bit. Put some sort of tubing like above my setup, and I have the camera kind of like anchored on there, and then can move it along the bar and then looking down right above me, that type of thing, and maybe invert the image. That'd be kind of cool. So yeah, I'll definitely try out some of that. Okay, so we just scraped off those pieces. Got the arm. Let's do his body. So again, prep work with models all the time. Getting those big flash pieces off so we don't have any issues with your sharp hobby knife, not a dull one. It's always good to have a dull one though as well. So like this guy here I've had for years. This dull knife would be super good for scraping along the edges to file stuff down, basically acting as a file. So that's handy to have too. But right now we're just going to remove these pieces. Then we're going to do a little bit of the dry fit assembly, kind of like what I did on this bad boy. So see his arm's kind of mangled there. That's because I'm giving him a different arm, make him a bit different than the other sergeant from the other squad. So I'm still sure on the positioning of it. Maybe something, his arm down a little bit off to the side. So still contemplating that, but yeah, this is the start of the Ultramarines chapter. I did a massive amount of Ultramarines when I was younger, and they were all old school Marines, the firstborn as I call them now. Sold all of those and sold a bunch of other stuff to get this camera. And now here we are. We are in 2021 live streaming, getting stuff done. There we go. That's another arm done. I feel like I did this piece already. Yep. Let's do the handlebars. Made a lot of progress with this army in terms of prep work. It's all basically in a box right now, but well, half of it's in a box, half of it's been prepped. The stuff that's been prepped, basically kind of similar to our chief librarian over here. He's been prepped for all of this, so again, spray painting with, I think it's, what blue is that? It's not Ultramarines blue anymore, it's something else, McCraig blue. So everything's been kind of sprayed with that, and with a bit of Corax white on some helmets, some shields, like the Blade Guard veterans. So I have some Eradicators, they're prepped, squad of Bikers, basically the Indominance half, and I also have some more Assault Intercessors that are ready to go. And now these extra bikes, because having 2 squads of these Outriders would be nice. And I got an ATV prep too. So the Ultramarines War Buggy with the Tinnitus Space Marine, who's basically between, like, well, the gun's right above him, kind of just like the Land Speeder, the new Land Speeder that they came out with. It's actually quite funny to look at. I got some photos up of that actually in my intro video, because it's just so silly. Okay, we're almost done with getting rid of the little pieces of flash. Extra sprue pieces. There we go. That's when you chop things off, right? So now we're going to take our and not cut ourselves. We're going to take our dull little knife here, and we're going to go ahead and kind of scrape away at the edges where things are basically at. So you'll see the mold lines, for instance, on these backpacks is very common. I'm just going to go ahead and scrape away all of that. I'm super finicky about all this stuff. So that's what's on the table next for us to do. So again, if it's your first time looking for this video or stream, again, this is my first go at this too, so hopefully the audio is coming in pretty crystal clear. Not too much background noise. Not quite sure what the wife's doing in the background, but definitely having some fun here, getting some hobby time in. Listen to some music. If anyone's interested in what I'm listening to at the moment, because I know the stream, there's not any music going on. Haven't really set anything for that yet. I'll have to look at licensings and some ideas for all that later on. I'm not really worried about that at this point. But at some point I would like to have music up on here. Okay, so that's backpack done. Oh, these tires take forever to do this. I wonder if the microphone's picking this up. Yep. Yeah, it is. In case if you're wondering, the audio is coming from a Blue Yeti microphone. The video, this main camera here, right, is coming from the Sony a6400. And then you got the webcam over yonder there. So yeah, hopefully it's all coming together. This will be great for me to look at later on, see how this setup works and what can I improve on it. I think the biggest thing that I can tell from right now is the angle of this camera, this guy right here, not the best. If I could have it kind of where I am, that would be probably a lot better. On this side view though, it's not too bad. I can kind of point off and show stuff on the side. I'll have to figure out something because I don't want to put it here on my right side. Because again, this is my dominant hand, so it's gonna have to be on the left. So I'm gonna have to figure out moving my light that I have over here on the right, my big main light. You can see it kind of right here, this white guy. He's got a little flappity flap. That could be on the left side, and then have the camera kind of attached sort of to that. So everything's kind of on my left, and then I'd have this side kind of cleared up. So I'm thinking that might be the best setup for this. And I can shove my computer stuff over a little bit. That's enough talking about the setup. There we go, got a tire done. So tire, backpack, so I like to have piles as well. Usually I like to start off with the bigger pieces, get those done, and then work on the little ones, but right now I'm doing it in reverse. There's lots of different tips and tricks and techniques for, again, holding your knife blades and things like that. I think when I have this set up slightly more in tune for looking at that, I'll definitely go over a little video on hobby knife safety handling and best ways to remove mold lines. Because over the years, I have figured out a number of different techniques that are super handy for doing this. And I'm sure that someone starting off would appreciate to learn how to do some of these. Oh, there's a bit of a chunk there. Not bad. I feel like I should be more into where the camera is here, but then I don't want my hand being in the way here. You can see my ring there. Okay, let's do some more small bits. Oh, got the nice chain sword here. So yeah, bring that up. Yeah, there we go. Let's get that camera right in focus. Will it focus this close? We're really testing out the camera here today, folks. Okay, so it looks like about there. Might have to zoom in. Let's do that instead. Oh yeah. So it likes to zoom in on that. So you got the purity seal on there. Got his chain sword, hand, really nice sculpt. Especially the almost like Inquisitor insignia there. So nice little piece of kit, this easy to assemble stuff. All right, let's go back to that arm. There's always some places where I believe it's the flak, the leftover mold lines aren't really much of a problem. Like some places you might not see them. I'm just super finicky. And again, some of my knife movements, you might be questioning why I'm kind of cutting towards myself. Again, this is a blade that I'm quite familiar with. I wouldn't be doing this with any ordinary blade. Again, this thing, it takes a lot of pressure to cut. As you can see here, I'm really pressing into my hand here, and it's fairly dull. It's mostly used for, again, scraping away mold lines. If I scrape my finger, it's not going to be bad. It's one of those few times where a dull blade isn't going to be messing you up quite as bad. Okay, so that's that one prepped. And this one here is not much to do except for, again, those little spots. Yeah, not much to do on this. I'm happy with that. We'll leave that one there. Sometimes it's a little bit of extra work. Sometimes you get away with not having to remove any mold lines. So GW is becoming a lot better at placing mold lines, especially on certain pieces. Looks like this piece, though, has mold lines galore. Which they had to go vertical across. Sorry, horizontal, that's the word. So they had to go horizontal, split this piece in two to be able to create the proper mold for it. It's trickier than I thought to stay in the middle of the frame of this. And only had one person pop onto the stream so far, one of my good buddies. But so we'll probably go up on YouTube anyways, just as a fun little thing of the memory of my first little stream here. So I'm really glad my buddy popped on to tell me if the audio was going well, if anything needed to be adjusted. So appreciated that. Yeah, just going through, finishing up that piece. So handlebar now complete. Front chest piece. Oh, looks like I missed a big piece of flash there. So sometimes I'm lazy and I don't want to grab my other blade. I'll just fix that up, and that's basically it for that one. Wow. Pays to have a good chair, that's for sure. Definitely invest in a great chair, everyone. It's worth its weight in gold. Okay. Always good to have movement breaks as well. Okay. Let's get the regular biker thing done. This is the vast majority of this. It's like these back handlebar things have a bunch of flash on them. Oh. Now you'll see here how I kind of anchor my knife as to not cut myself. Right, that's a trick I learned over a bunch of years of well, accidents and stupidity. And we're already at the 30-ish, 45-minute mark or something like that. Time flies. Kind of wonder what projects other people are working on right now around the world. Somebody else working on a Space Marine bike at the same time that I am. What are the odds of that? It's one thing to ponder about. Okay, now we got an annoying wheel here, so that mold line, classic mold line. Even the old bikes had this same sort of issue. So you could be a bit more rough with these ones. Okay, now I'm getting into the groove, finding a good position to be in when I'm doing this. Kind of looks like I'm really manhandling this. I think the best thing would be to have a setup, like I said, right above. Just have to make a specialized sort of box. In case if you're wondering about the lighting setup, I have the main big white light right in front of my face currently. And I have some small USB LED lights. I have 2 of them going right now. I could have up to 5 of those guys going at once, which would be hilarious to see, and I should do that at some point, just to see how much lighting I can get. They're not warm lights, they're cool lights currently, but they have the option to be flipped. Actually, let's take a look, see what that looks like on camera here. So we're gonna flip out one of them. And where's our other one? The main light doesn't have this ability, but yeah, that's kind of a more warm light. You can see that in the reflection of the plastic sheet. That's the light off. So if we just have the main light, it's a bit darker. Really messing with the camera here. Okay. We'll keep those on. Those are definitely adding a bit of light. And that should be the last piece on this. And then we're going to be putting that, piecing it together. One thing I'm worried about is glue fumes. I do not want to get glue fumes anywhere near the lens of this camera. So that's the one thing I may have to look up. Because I do not want to be messing with the lens. Okay, so that's all of that. Now it's just these other leg components. So yeah, we got to get those guys done. And then we'll get to the fun part, the assembly with a little bit of glue. So along these pipes, there's always a lot. Mold lines, that flash gets left over. Along the legs, kind of amazed how awesome this camera is. I definitely think lighting is going to make a big impact on this too. I'm doing this currently with absolutely no natural light. So I might have to look into maybe a lamp of some kind. I had a great time talking with camera people. My local kind of camera shop. They helped me out quite a lot. So without them, this would not have been possible. So I asked, I don't know how many questions, went to how many different shops, and finally found a good local one. Oh, and even it takes a lot to shake this camera. Wow. I'm literally like pressing on the desk fairly hard and it's not shifting it. That's a good sign. Okay, where's some more mold lines? Aha, more on the leg. Oh, I think I missed his, yep. I definitely missed his toes on this one. Yep. With the way these models are now, you don't need to be going over it like 100,000 times, except for like some specific areas. You just need to give it a light sort of touch with your knife just to scrape off that little excess of plastic caused by the mold itself. Yeah, See, I'm not removing all that much plastic. It's very minute, but and I feel like it makes a big difference. Don't like seeing my little toy soldiers with mold lines and stuff going across their face or their guns or the back of their mufflers like this. Just flatten that piece out. Technology's improved so much. If I had an older model to compare, I'd show it. But essentially, it's amazing right now compared to what it was. I do have some older models. Maybe I'll grab some of those in a bit for a little bit of a break. All right. So first part. For the assembly, we gotta glue this onto here because I find without gluing it, kind of rattles, makes a bit of noise. So we're gonna pop out our really terrible glue container. This is the glue container that never ever wants to work. I melted the glue in here to try and get it out, set it on fire, trying to clear this little escape route. That no success. So what we have to do is just simply remove that, and I'll do this a little bit further away from the camera and just a few dabs to not get, oh, I can definitely smell that. And we'll put that way away from the camera. I'll go ahead and place this in gingerly without getting glue all over my hands. And voila, we have it. Tire. We'll let that sit over here. As that dries out, and we'll put that back on there to deal with fumes. Okay. So now that we have that assembled, we'll let that dry for a minute. So this will be kind of our next part. Once we have the wheel dry, we'll be putting those and the wheel together. So let's see how the dry fit fits with our little dude here. So it looks like I bent his head slightly, which is fine. So I just don't press these all the way in because I'm going to be spray painting later on. Let's give him this backpack. So there's our funny armed Marine right there. This guy's going to go, of course, up top there. Nope. Nope, that's this arm. And then we have his I'm going to charge you and cut you up arm. So again, I would usually glue a lot of this together, but I feel like with painting these guys, sub-assembly is very nice. So these models are actually really convenient because they don't need much in terms of TLC. So hopefully that wheel's going to be dry here in a moment. I think it should be good at this point. I might need to pull out the glue again with the chassis here, because this part here, when it connects, not the best. So let's go ahead and shove this wheel on. And we'll close that up. And I'll put a little bit of glue right there. So grab that. And what the heck, we could do a little bit there and a little bit there. Just enough to kind of hold it. Don't need all that much glue. To close this up. There we go. Okay. There's our main body, and of course I'm going to wipe away the excess glue here. Always good to have a Kleenex ready to go. So there's the main part of the bike. And then we have our dude, who will of course slide on like so. So maybe this front piece might need a little bit of glue as well. So you can see here it's not fully closing. So that might be worth gluing in a little bit. Yep, I think I'm gonna have to do that. Let's pull that out again. Wipe down some of the excess. You gotta be quick with wiping it down too. We'll hold that in place. And then, what's the next part of the instructions? The handlebar goes on to. Not gonna glue that down. Kind of sits on there. His hand will eventually slot into place. Yeah, now we just have the side panels, and that's our biker boy done. So we'll just can slide that in there a little bit, just see kind of what it looks like. It's kind of, we won't close that all the way through. We'll just keep that pressed for a little bit. There we go. There's an assembled biker. And his head jiggles. Look at that. Just got to hold on to that a little bit more. And that's biker number 2 done. That just leaves us with biker number 3. Oh, we got another viewer. Hello, welcome to the stream. Might not have seen you there. And just assembling some Warhammer 40k bikers. So that's what I'm doing right now. Got 2 of them done. And they're fairly straightforward to put together, which is nice. So welcome to the stream. If you got any hobby goals or things to focus on in the next little bit, feel free to join on in. Just trying this out for the first time. It's a fun little setup. Just trying to wait for this little piece to glue. I just wish I had that glue that could activate. Put on the little activator. Yeah, once that glues, they'll be nice and good. And we've already been on for an hour now at this point. Can't believe how quickly this has gone by. We're 8 o'clock here local time. So yeah, this a really good kit by Games Workshop. It's the Outrider kit from the Indominus box set. Definitely would recommend it. Super easy. I'd give it a 10 out of 10 for assembly, just besides maybe a few gaps that you need a bit of glue on. But honestly, this is one of the easiest kits to assemble, and for painting, it's going to be a breeze because it's sub-assembly. It's awesome. So definitely recommend this as a kit. I'm going to hit the refresh the chat there. So we'll let that one dry there. So now we're going to go back to the prepping stage. So our next one, basically just all the leftover bits. So we just got to cut those out of the sprue. Start off with the wheel well. And then we're going to go ahead and get this filed down and slap it together. So I find this very therapeutic as well, especially after a long week. Again, like I was saying before, tomorrow I'm going to try and paint up this little guy over here. So his face is done, but not the rest of him. So I'm looking forward to getting him done. And again, thanks for joining the stream. It's a great moment to pull out whatever you need to get done on your hobby bench. Be it a zombie, a robot, a fantasy creature, space cowboy, whatever it might be. It's a fun little time to chat and get stuff done. There's a sprue done. Boom. And we got the rest of these pieces. Oh, we got his booty. Go ahead and cut that one out. Yeah. And depending on the clippers you got too, some of them over the years improve over time, while others just get worse and worse. This one here is the Citadel brand one. It's been working pretty good for me so far. Just got it last year, and it's held up. I've had pairs of these snips that just literally fall apart and end up using actually as pliers or for twisting things because the blade just gets so mucked up. Yeah. I wish I had like an automatic thing to type in welcome to the stream here. I'll have to figure out some sort of automation there as soon as someone pops in for viewing. But yeah. I'm also doing a recording of this. So see, that is when the clippers fail. So that was off camera. But essentially, I was clipping this guy out, the handlebar, and, well, the handlebar broke because the clippers kind of kick back. So I'll have to glue that back. That's unfortunate. But it could have been a lot worse. It's really interesting keeping things in frame while doing this as well. Again, I know I feel like I'm really far away, but I'm actually fairly close. Ooh, you hear that sweet, sweet snip. And there we go. We have almost the entirety of Biker 3 snipped out. That muffler. Again, you got to be careful too if you're just twisting them out as well. That can also lead to some breakage, which isn't ideal. All right, so there's all the bits. Looks like a lot, but it's actually not. So we're gonna go ahead and put that on the side. So first off, this little oopsie. Now you can see this is now bent. It might be a little bit hard to tell on the camera, but that guy here is kind of whoop, 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 whoop. So we gotta fix that. Let's go ahead and grab our glue. I'm not going to break that off fully. And we'll place some glue in the shattered section, fold that back, and then of course wipe away. If it's a little bit chunky, that's fine. We'll set that aside, down flat to dry. Wipe off excess and close the glue. Actually, you know what? We're going to glue another piece on right now since we have the glue out. Go ahead and glue this to the tire. Finish up that tire well. Like so. Without getting glue all over ourselves. Oh. This is definitely the trickiest bit of the model here. And yep, I got glue in my hands. So there we go. I got that tire in there. And trying to be as neat as possible with this glue. Keeping glue fumes down to a minimum to not affect the lens of the camera. Looks like the lens of the camera is doing okay. So we'll leave that guy off to the side with that one to dry. Looks like I may have to close the door here as the wife is making a bunch of noise. I have no idea if that's picking up on the mic. It probably is. probably have to close that door. So if you hear my wife making weird noises, and it's Saturday night, so either chatting with friends or there's just some sort of background noise. Oh, it's a movie or something. Okay, we should be good. Yeah, the mic's not really picking it up from what I can tell. And if it is, please let me know there, chat. Okay, so basically, again, what I'm doing, just removing those big chunks, just like before. Trying to get more into camera, more into frame here. Again, this is with, of course, that sharp knife yet again. Trying to remove some sections. Big chunks. Oh, so this is a great talking point here. So on this one, we have a huge chunk right here that's kind of like scooped in. So these ones are always tricky to get because you have to do a scooping sort of motion. So with the sharp blade, you have to get one angle on it and then another. And there we go. So again, I kind of scooped in and scooped out. Kind of like carving a pumpkin. Or not carving a pumpkin, scooping out the guts of a pumpkin would be more like it. Okay, so I got those little bits done. Ah, another classic piece, the backpack. Just removing that off there. And the camera's focusing in pretty well on that. Look at that detail. Ooh, Sony, such a good job with your cameras. Go ahead and fix his body next. Almost feel like I should bring this over slightly. Yeah. There we go. That's a bit better. Again, not the best camera angle, but... Ooh. Wife brought pretzel. A load of that. I'm going to try that out in a bit. Thank you. Fresh off the press. Ooh, a little oily, but should be good. Smells good. Okay, there's that body done. The booty next. There we go. Got that done. That was quick. We're moving quicker along through all these. Let's get this guy's head done. Voila. Okay. We're going to cut off some of that. It's always tricky sometimes too, remembering where these connection points are to the original sprue. But if you do enough of these, it'll be like second nature. You'll just spin it around and be like, there it is. Especially when you're doing mass assemblies. I did that with the Necrons from this box as well. I just did them all in a day, which was kind of an ordeal. But yeah, again, removing all these little bits and bobs to make the models look as best as they can, without, of course, carving into them. That is the key. Carving into these bad boys is not what you want to do, unless if you're doing battle damage. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I'm definitely getting more in the middle of the camera now, which is good. Okay. Those are those side bits. That should be fine. So things that, again, this will be in the base of the model. This little stub. Don't have to worry about that. Even underneath the underside of the model, not so much. This front piece, though, however, that is going to be extremely visible. So I want to make sure that that's removed. And up at the top. And that's never going to be seen, but still, I'm finicky when it comes to that. That's that piece done. We are almost there. Got 2 bikes together in about 40-ish minutes. Not too bad, especially since I had to organize the whole stream, get things ready to go. Now I know how to do this. It should be a breeze to get the rest of it going. I might even continue the rest of the stream here in a bit with maybe some gaming afterwards. Take a little break from some modeling. And what's our battery life? Oh, and the camera is just doing great. Got that. Ooh, I'll have to fit around with some settings later on and optimize things, but super pleased with that camera. And I'll have to update the information there in my Twitch to let you all know, okay, what my setup is. So, first things first. The tire, now that it's dry, we're going to go ahead and plop that boy right in there. So again, fits in snug. Now, I will probably have to put in some glue here. So I'm going to prep this, because the other ones, I had the same issue. So again, we're going to go ahead and place it in the same spots up here at the front. A little dab of glue to help keep that together. And again, I'm not being super finicky with some of this. And I'm going to go ahead and close that up. Yeah, especially there at the front. So, ooh, smell the glue fumes. Don't want that to get near the camera. That should be it for the glue for today. So again, we can see excess glue. Wipe it off very quickly. You don't want to, then you get some sort of leftover bits from the paper towel or the Kleenex, so you want to be quick with it. And we'll keep that over there. So yeah, now we watch glue dry for a minute. And still have to hold together that front piece. The back piece is holding together quite well. So again, just holding these together. Ah, there we go. That front piece finally snapped in. That was the problem. Okay, now I don't have to hold it. Perfect. Okay, so the rest of the assembly. His torso and his head. We'll have to do that in a bit. I forgot to remove the flash. So we'll let this dry on the side and we'll remove the flash from all the other ones. And then we'll come back to that main body when it's dry. So, again, like I said earlier, very therapeutic. Looks like I missed a chunk here. And there we go. That's one piece, the flak removed. This one here, a little bit underneath the armpit. So again, some of these places are very hidden. You don't have to worry about them. Like, no one's gonna ever notice that. All right. As soon as I'm done this, it'll be pretzel time, and we'll take a little bit of a break from the stream, I take it. In case if you're wondering what I'm listening to, I have currently on Pulse Radio, streamed from France, so just a shout out to them. They do some great stuff. Been listening to them for a long time. So again, if you're hobbying it up, feel free to check out their trance dance, their streams, all that fun stuff. Okay, so we got that. His booty, nothing needs to be done on that except for this top piece. There. Okay. All right. There's a bunch of flax. So this one you can really see there's like a line that goes across. If I can get closer to the camera. Yeah, there you go. You can really see it there, that little line on it. So that's what I'm trying to get rid of. So nobody likes to see a line like that on their model, especially if you want it to be a display piece. But if it's a rank and file dude, not quite as bad. Yeah. And again, if you're new to this channel too, feel free, of course, to check out all the social media and the YouTube. It should all be there. I think I added it all on there, so fun thing to check out. I posted a lot of my work in the last couple of years. Just up actually a couple of weeks ago. Here we go. Almost done with that. Oh, it looks like its stream is updating, whatever that means. So I have the live chat on my phone. The next step will be to, of course, get a second monitor to be able to watch all the shenanigans in chat happen on a second screen while I have OBS running with the stream. That is the goal. We're getting closer and closer to finishing this. Aha! That classic. They always like to put the connection points on this raised edge on the shoulder pads. That is a classic Space Marine thing to do. Very classic. Okay. Put that to the side. Ah, the head. So again, same thing with the heads. Classic thing. All Space Marine models since I can remember them being in plastic. Like to do that vertical mold line. And they have a similar design as well to the previous Firstborn Marines, these Primaris dudes. It brings back memories of old. Assembling these on the kitchen table at the parents' house. All right, now the big piece. So again, some of those edges just really easy to take care of with the dull knife. And there we go. It's just clearing out some more of the flak along the sides. Hopefully that's mostly in the camera. It looks like it is. Yeah. Woo! Show the face cam some love now and again. Okay, can't forget the legs and the toes, because last time we missed the toes. Even Space Marines need to get their toes done up now and again. Okay. And that is that piece done. Oh, the back of the legs. I did not do the back of the legs on any of these. See, even a veteran like myself, I will forget certain areas, certain spots. But again, usually if there's an area that I forget, it's an area that's not really visible. Or at least that's the hope. Okay. Get rid of that. Go along the gun. And again, it may look like I'm doing this pretty quickly, but it's only because I've done, what, 5 of these models now. And really having a good feel with your X-Acto knife will help you know, again, if you're digging in too deep or not enough. There. Look at the bottom. And then assembly time. Oh, this should be dry. Yep. So what we're going to do is just remove the flak along some key raised areas. And the wheels. So again, just going in there, really getting that really predominant line, getting that taken care of. And then we have, geez, just the other tire to deal with. And then we'll assemble our Outrider, or partially assemble him. Assemble him enough where he stays together, but that we can also pull him apart for painting later. Okay. There we go. So there's our bike. Let's go ahead, get our head, the back part of our torso, that's the front part. So back and head, squish the head inside. Sometimes that is the trickiest part. Okay, just enough to make him bobble his head. And again, this is the easy disassemble kit from Indominus, so nothing too crazy. Don't really need glue for this. I might eventually use some glue on this though. Is this the wrong gun? That might be the wrong arm. Yep, that is the proper arm. Oh, I like that arm. That is a nice looking arm right there. And then this is the other one. So I cut out the other arm. Originally this is supposed to be for this dude, but I wanted to give him a bionic arm just to mix it up. Okay, so we got that. Our handlebar is kind of dry. Let's go ahead and remove the flak off of that, and then we'll place that on. Finish assembling this dude, and then that will be our squad of Outriders done for this evening. Okay. So, handlebars on the bike. Get that on there. Doesn't really need any glue. We'll put our dude on there with his lack of legs. Next is just kind of putting these on here. Or attempting to fit these in. Not pushing them all the way in because I'm going to be pulling those apart later to do some painting. I feel like I pressed that in slightly too much. There we go. So, 3 bikers, said and done. So we can zoom on in. That was the one. Second one, and then our captain here again, his head's not in there, and we're using a bionic arm for him, which is pretty badass. So with that, I think I'll call the stream there and stop the recording. To those of you who joined up on the stream, thank you so much, and we might be back on to play some games a little later on this evening, but right now it's pretzel time. So until next time, happy hobbying, everyone.